We are live. Welcome, welcome, welcome to Small Business Saturday Shout Out. I'm your host, Alicia Curry, and I hope you stick around because today we're not just going to talk about cyber safety, but we're also going to talk about emotional awareness. So stay tuned. Well, hello, everyone. Welcome to Small Business Saturday Shout Out. I'm your host, Alicia Curry, here for another amazing episode. And I just wanted to share that these two gentlemen that we have on the show today, you really want to stick around and hear what they have to say because it's really innovative. It's going to help your business, and you're going to get a lot out of it. So welcome to those who are watching this streaming live, and those of you who are watching on replay. We love you too. Thank you for joining us. Thank you for sticking around. We stream live on Facebook, on LinkedIn, on YouTube, on Twitch, and Periscope isn't really streaming anymore, but we do have Twitter that we share this broadcast to as well. So hold on a second. Sorry, I have a little bit of a technical thing happening right now. Anyway, so thank you for joining, and don't forget that Small Business Saturday Shout Out is not just a show on Saturday where we shout out businesses, but it's also a community, a growing, booming community on Facebook. So I invite you to join us over on Facebook. You can go to facebook.com/groups/SBSSO. That stands for Small Business Saturday Shout Out. So join us over on Facebook. And if you would like to subscribe to our YouTube channel, please do that. I would really appreciate that. And that's youtube.com/C/Alicia Curry. So come on over to YouTube and subscribe to our YouTube channel. I share a lot of different tips, not just this show, but I have podcasts and a few other things, some really great information to educate, because I like to influence, educate, inspire, and entertain you. So head on over to YouTube. Also, SBSSO. We give shout outs in 3 different ways on this show. So first of all is you can, of course, be a guest. Come on over, be a guest. The second way that you can get a shout out is by leaving a comment. So you can comment who you are. You write your name, your business, your company name, and how can people best reach you? And I will read it out live during the show, so you get a shout out that way. And the third way is you can do a 30-second commercial. You can come on live and do a 30-second pitch of your business, or you can send us a pre-recorded pitch of your business. Just come on over. Hey, Deborah, thank you so much for joining me. So come on over and you can get a shout out that way. And Small Business Saturday is a show for the small business owner. This will help get exposure for you and your brilliance to your clients so they can discover just how amazing you are. So come on, become a guest, share your brilliance with the audience. And the great thing is you get a copy of this video for yourself, for your marketing. So you have this as a marketing asset for yourself as well. So if you are watching live in the Facebook group, in the Small Business Saturday Shout Out Facebook group, please tag at the end of your comment, tag your name, because then I know who it is, because privacy reasons, Facebook blocks anyone who's commenting out of the group. So if you're commenting from the group, go ahead and tag your name at the end. Woo! I think I have gone through all my little announcements. Nope, I have a couple more. I'm looking through my my little thing there. Bop is here. Thank you, Bop, for joining us. So in this community, Small Business Saturday shout out. So we have the show, we have the community, but you know what else? We do 2 other really special things at Small Business Saturday shout out. One is we have masterclasses to help you learn a little bit more about business in general. So we do masterclasses, we hold them, and we have them in the group only. So this is you have to be a part of the group to get access to those masterclasses. The fourth thing that we do that's super fun and really special is we have networking events. We have virtual networking events because our members are global. We have members from all across the globe, and we have one coming up August 27th. And let me tell you, these networking events are fun. They are, they're really enjoyable. And what happens is people get to meet each other. I've had people in these networking events that have collaborated, that have done business together, that have been on each other's shows or podcasts. So you never know who you're going to meet and who can help you. So come on over. We are having our next event, and let me share with you when that is. It is on the 27th of this month at 6 p.m. Eastern time. If you're in the group and you go into the group, there's a registration for that. If you, so just go on over to facebook.com/groups/SBSSO, join the group. And when you join the group, you can get the registration, register for our next happy hour event, and come meet some new business owners that you probably didn't know before. So come on over and register and join that event. So one last thing I'm going to say is you can sponsor a segment of this show. You can sponsor this show. And let me tell you how you can do that. You can sponsor Small Business Saturday Shout Out. And what we'll do is we'll have you going across the banner as a sponsor to the show. So just get in touch with me. The best way to get in touch with me is to go to alicia360.com or message me, private message me on Facebook, on Instagram, on Twitter, on LinkedIn, wherever you are, you can private message me. I am at the Alicia Curry. So you can always private message me if you want to sponsor, find out more about having your name go across the ticker and sponsor the show. Speaking of sponsored, this episode of Small Business Saturday Shoutout is sponsored by Alicia Curry Inc. That's how that works. See? So without further ado, so the bopper, I do not have a business, but I want to figure out how to market my art and stuff. You have a business if you are an artist. So yes, you can join the group and let's help you figure that out. Let's connect you with some people that can help you figure out how to market your art more successfully. If that's what you're looking to do, we'd love to connect you with some people who can help you do that. All right. I am super excited because I'm about to bring my first guest up, and we are going to meet someone who is going to share with us how to be cyber safe, cyber safety. So I'll be right back. Welcome back to Small Business Saturday Shoutout. I'm your host, Alicia Curry. Thank you so much for joining us today. And my next guest is Dennis Logan Jr. And let me tell you about Dennis. Dennis Logan Jr. is the chief architect and owner of Cyber Safety Architects, the first independent cyber risk management insurtech agency. He began his career underwriting management liability for Chubb and sharpened his underwriting skills at Dual Commercial. He saw that cyber liability insurance would be the most important insurance product for businesses, yet not many agents were talking about it. So he studied the insurance market as a wholesale and retail broker for all risks, professional risk solutions, and Zaguro. By culminating his experiences and utilizing cutting-edge technology, he is building the most efficient, customer-focused insurance agency in the world. And I am so excited to welcome to the show Dennis Logan Jr. Hey, Dennis, how are
Hi,
you?
Alicia. Thanks so much for having me. I'm good. How are you?
So I messed that pronunciation up. Could you help me out? How
Zaguro?
Zaguro. Oh my goodness.
Zaguro,
I don't
yes.
know why I couldn't get that out.
No, it's all
So,
good. It's Spanish
so
for safety. Actually.
Spanish for safety. Thank you. See, I am not bilingual, clearly. So,
Barely one.
Dennis, thank you so much for joining us. What is the difference between cyber security and cyber safety?
Sure. The biggest difference is it really boils down to kind of like driving a car. You know, the seatbelt is your security, but how you drive is going to impact your safety. So it's the same thing. It's having proper cyber hygiene means, you know, making sure that you're using multi-factor authentication or using complex passwords. It's the human element of, you know, being protected. That's
And so your side of it is more around the insurance of it than the software or training how to stay safe online, like don't open phishing emails, etc.
Well, so compared to our competition that is typically just an insurance agency, we look to partner with uh, uh, cutting edge partners on along the lines that everyone would need. So we have, you know, hijacks, which are cyber safety and dark web phishing monitoring system. Excuse me. You know, more so to say that we are providing all of the proper tools to ensure your complete safety rather than just trying to just say, here goes a seatbelt, you know, good luck, in comparison
Right.
to, you know, back to the auto comparison, essentially.
Excellent. Excellent. And how big of a deal is it right now to really, for business owners, because we're looking at businesses, to really look at the cyber safety of their organization? Because we're looking at small businesses. So a lot of us think, well, I don't really need that. That's for the bigger companies.
Absolutely. The thing I stress so much is that they're correct in thinking that no, the hackers aren't necessarily targeting small businesses individually. They're not thinking about Jim Bob's, you know, bakery per se. What they are doing and what's causing all the havoc is that whenever passwords are stolen or leaked or what have you, like for instance Instagram, whenever all those passwords were released, you know, hackers are buying those sheets and buying passwords by thousands of passwords. So small businesses are going to be the most impacted by that, because that's whenever you get those phishing emails or other emails that seem a little bit fishy, maybe even look legitimate in some cases, and someone clicks on it, and then that's whenever they get into the system. So it's really about it's a large scale systematic approach to how they're doing it. That yes, they are still, you know, people are buying, for instance, 100%. So, you know, Jeff Bezos's passwords might be worth, you know, $20 million on dark web. The small business owners, those are literally going for pennies on the dollar, or pennies per account, where people are just, you know, throwing these into a cheap system. Again, they buy it offline the same way you would buy an antivirus software or what have you, and then they plug in that sheet of information and see where things start lighting up pretty much. And then once it lights up, that's when you get the follow-ups and they dig into it more, and that's when they start actually actively targeting you. But again, it all starts with just having proper cyber safety hygiene, and that's knowing whether your passwords are out there or not. And that's what Sidex does for us, where if you come in and request a cyber insurance quote with us, we automatically run it through there and let you know, hey, you know, this person's password is available online. Next time that they send you an email or something like that, make sure that it's actually them and not someone else that also saw that this password is online. Absolutely.
Right. Yeah, so change your passwords frequently. Absolutely. Do you recommend using, like I use something called LastPass to like just create these unique passwords that are long and complicated, and so that I can, because I'm not going to remember them.
Yeah. No, that is step number one. So back to the driving the car scenario, right? Putting on your seatbelt is still required for you to be able to be safe. So that, in my opinion, creating a difficult password is that first step. Using something like LastPass, there's OnePass. I think even Norton has different things. Any of those are I can recommend. There's obviously you want to do your digging and do your research to make sure they're not sketchy. So LastPass is a great one because they've had a track record. But bottom line is that ambiguity between you and the creation of that password also makes it harder for the hacker to figure out. So again, if your password is your dog or your street or it contains your birthday or something like that, all those things you can easily find on Instagram or Facebook or just any of your other social platforms, and they're going to sit there and try that as a possible equation. So just really removing that step makes it a lot harder for them to figure out what's next.
The best tip I ever heard about keeping some of that information safe is when you're filling out forms and they ask you for security questions, like at the bank or wherever, to lie. I'm like, absolutely. I never thought about lying about those things. It's like, oh yeah, don't say what your favorite color really is. No. Say a different color, because you're probably telling everybody in the world what your favorite color is on Facebook and at Instagram, and then suddenly they just plug in your favorite color and boom, they're in. So
well, and more to that point, what's kind of scary, right? So say you fill out that form and whoever you gave that form to gets hacked, and you answered the other, if you answered your bank questions the same way and your mortgage questions the same way, then that person that has that information has everything, same access. So yes, definitely. I wouldn't say, try to remember what you put down, but for the most part, you should definitely put down some different answers, be unique about it, be, increasingly weirdly mentally specific about something that, something that someone would never guess would be associated about it. Maybe
like, what's your maiden name? Make something up.
Right. Yeah. As long as it's not right. Well, I would say be careful about that, because that could be identity fraud if you change your last name. But just everything else, though, just feel free. Your dog could have been purple and yellow, and
right,
anything
right.
like that,
so okay, gotcha. So tell me, Dennis, what is your superpower?
I would say, if anything, problem solving. I'd say it's more of an annoyance to myself in a way, because I don't get along with people that just complain. I always want to, immediately try and fix something. So I had to, have those conversations with my fiance where she's like, I just want to have a just conversation. Whereas I'm always, straight to, let's get to point B. Let's
everything.
Absolutely. So getting to open my agency and, really get to facilitate that problem solving is I'll say, my superpower now. So
that's excellent. And what is sort of like the biggest challenge or concern that you're seeing that your clients have? Like, what's a common challenge that they're facing?
So really, obviously it's a little bit of a plug for myself, but cyber insurance or cyber security and cyber safety, really, because the reason I opened the agency is that there weren't enough people talking about it actively and in the circles that I felt needed to be talked about. A lot of our competitors look at small businesses as small businesses. I consider small businesses to be the core of every community, and I think that's what really leads to having an agency that means something. And so for me, talking about cyber, or when other agents would approach, especially small businesses, they would lean on the BOP, business owners policies, and then leave cyber off as a optional add-on. Whereas I think it's the most important thing, because simply it covers the loss of income during a tech interruption event. So you talk about your software, hardware fail, and that's going to be loss of income. Now, when you talk about a business or a company that's not going to be able to withstand being down for a week or 2 weeks, particularly post-pandemic, that's going to be the smaller businesses. And that's why it's so important that they understand that, it's not about hackers trying to target them specifically, but there is this just systematic approach to trying to get into their business and just cause disruption, to where they're going to be out of business for a week, and that's a check that not a lot of people can necessarily miss.
Yeah, because
I think that's trying to educate about that is the biggest problem that I'm trying to solve for clients, because they're just not aware, even with all the government, Biden talking about cybersecurity, they're not talking about cyber insurance as a key piece of cybersecurity and a key piece of how you stay in business.
Yeah, because not too long ago, I think people kind of became aware of ransomware in a big way when, the gas, that company
Colonial
was
Pipeline.
right, when the pipeline was hacked. And so it was, now everybody's like, oh my God, how are we going to get gas? They could stay up. Well, they were shut down for a while, but they could get back up and running. And like you're saying, a small business cannot handle that kind of disruption. And they're not going to come at you and ask you for millions of dollars like they did with them. But what they are going to ask can not just financially cripple you, but then you're not being productive. You can't operate because they've locked you out of all of your files and everything else. So tell us, how does this process work in the final minutes that we have together?
Sure. So the insurance quoting process, or kind of the hacking side?
The insurance quoting process, and then you can finish off with the hacking.
Sure. So yeah, if you just visit our website, www.csa.insure, INSURE. So www.csa.insure. You go down to the bottom of any of the pages. There's a quick 6-question application or questionnaire. We get you a quote, and then we start discussing the best options for you. The cyber insurance piece, again, like I said, covers that loss of income, but more importantly, it pays for that ransomware and cyber crime. And more importantly, and the biggest thing I cannot stress, is that whenever a cyber attack happens, the last thing that you want to do is have to, reach out to Fiverr or Upwork or reaching out to friends and family, hoping that you can find someone that does IT work and does data breach recovery, and then finding them at a reasonable cost. So cyber insurance provides you with a full panel of people that are trained to respond within the hour, typically, or within 2 hours, trained to deal with that strain of ransomware where they may have dealt with it that morning or even the day before. And then, like I said, really getting your systems back up and running, which is one of the most expensive parts, to be able to get your clients back, get your reputation back, get your system prepared, and hopefully just learn from that quick mistake. And that's what cyber insurance is there for. So thank you so much for having me, and I really, really appreciate the opportunity here.
Oh, you're very welcome, Dennis. And to connect with Dennis as well, you can go to dennis@csa.insure. So not .com, .insure. So make sure you connect with Dennis. And I appreciate you coming in. I know that you had planned to be at a different location, but you got called out. So
yeah, sorry, it looks like I'm calling from like a evil lair or something. I'm just working out bars. So we'll blur this out or something like that for the refund. But no, thank you so much. And if there's anything I can do, please let me know.
All right. Thank you, Dennis. Take care. So that was Dennis Logan Jr. Again, if you want to connect with them, you can connect with them on Facebook. It is facebook.com/csa.insure. The website again is www.csa.insure, and his email address is dennis@csa.insure. So I have a little treat for you, because I know that those of you who are watching, I have never really talked about my own business on Small Business Saturday Shout Out. And I do have a small business outside of doing this wonderful show. And so I thought today, since I can't interview myself, I am going to do something very different. And I'm releasing a sort of a video about who we are and what we do at Alicia Curry Inc. And I wanted to share that with you today before I bring up my next guest. So you can keep the comments flowing, keep things going. If you want to shout out, again, remember, if you want to shout out your own business, and Bob, you could tell us about your artwork as well. You can shout out your business by leaving it in the comments. Tell us your name, your business or company name, and how your clients can best reach you, and what you do for your clients. And I will read it out live during the show. So this is something different, something we haven't done before. And let's see if it if it works. So stay tuned to learn a little bit more about Alicia Curry Inc. I am Alicia Curry, the founder and CEO of a boutique consulting firm that specializes in developing audaciously proactive leaders and teams using brain science and people data. You ever look at someone on your team and think, come on, when are they going to take the initiative and do what I need them to do without me constantly having to tell them what to do? Now imagine they're fully leaning into their acute problem-solving abilities and executing at a level you know they're capable of without waiting for you to tell them what to do. They're clear, confident, collaborating and communicating, working in their zone of genius every day without the need to micromanage. That's being audaciously proactive. If you ask someone, they might overestimate their ability to perform. But what we've found is the best way to discover a person's zone of genius is by gathering the brain science data from the right assessment tools. Oh no, they're not. In the same way you wouldn't use a hammer to fix a carburetor, you have to pick the right assessment tool to gather the data. My favorite quote from Albert Einstein says, "Everyone's a genius, but if you judge a fish by its ability to climb a tree, it will live its entire life believing it's stupid." We are complex beings, and one assessment will not give you the answers. The right assessment depends on which part of the mind you need the data on. Yes, there are 3 distinct faculties of the mind that inform us about a person. The cognitive mind is our thinking mind. The affective mind is our emotional mind. And the conative mind, that's the third part, is our action mind. If you only get the data from the emotional mind or just the thinking mind, you really don't know how people are instinctively wired to take action on those thoughts and emotions. If someone on your team is not problem solving or executing at a high level, then they need a conative assessment to understand their action modes. At Alicia Curry Inc., we gather data on all 3 parts of the mind and design action plans based on the complete picture, not just a third or a half of a person. Within our personal playbook, we're each designed with an MO, or modus operandi, to strive and solve problems in unique ways, but we're not often given the freedom to do that. For example, we're taught to do math a very specific way, but I experienced an incident where my son was once accused of cheating on a math assignment because he didn't solve the problem the teacher's way. He arrived at the correct answer, but not using her methodology. So in her mind, clearly he cheated. How many times in life are we forced to do things someone else's way that feels more difficult or more tedious when so clearly and instinctively we see a better solution? Understanding conation allows us to harness those innate strengths, I call them your superpowers or your zone of genius, to help us solve those problems faster and with greater ease. The 4 most important things leaders should be aware of when it comes to assessments is 1. Assessments give us incredibly valuable data points on human behavior and performance. 2, these are not tests. A test implies there's a right and a wrong answer, and people get all tied in knots when they're taking tests. Assessments give us data for what is. So much less stress. 3, assessment data can be used in a multitude of ways, from hiring and recruiting to performance reviews, team development, leadership development, promotions, coaching, and so much more. And finally, 4, If you've given assessments in the past, especially in the hiring or recruiting process, and not fully utilized that data beyond that, employees can get frustrated as it becomes a check-the-box exercise without implementing a strategy to really transform teams and leadership engagement to massively impact company culture. Our proprietary system first gathers the data on each individual, identifying their strengths and blind spots. Then we take a look at the team type and compare it to the goals or strategy your company or department is pursuing. We can then identify gaps and areas of conflict, putting your goals at risk. Finally, we provide specific actionable solutions to your challenges, collapsing the time it takes to get your team to higher performance and faster results. With Alicia Curry Inc., we assess all three parts of the mind. That's the first differentiator. Also, by understanding a person's behaviors, motivations, how quickly they absorb and process information, and their action modes allows our trained and certified team to spot gaps and areas of potential conflict to co-create a customized action plan alongside you for quick and lasting transformation. If taking your team from ordinary to operating fully in their zone of genius wasn't yet on your to-do list, I would consider how having audaciously proactive employees will improve your life and accelerate your business results utilizing all three parts of the mind. Then, I'd put developing audaciously proactive teams on my to-do list and email alicia@aliciacurry.com to set up a time to talk ASAP. If you're saying, but Alicia, we've used assessments in the past and they just don't work. Well then, I'd say maybe you didn't employ the right assessment or follow-up strategy. So email me, alicia@aliciacurry.com, and let's talk to see where those gaps were.
Awesome.
Yay!
That was awesome.
Well, that's it. That is a little bit about what we do over here at aliciacurry.com to work with leaders and teams to get them working synergistically together and growing and moving on all cylinders. So I have a few minutes left. If anyone wants to get a shout out, let me know before my next guest comes up. He had an emergency he had to go deal with. So I am doing what they do, you know, they say stretch for time. So I am stretching for time. So if anyone wants to leave a comment or share, and I'll put it up on the screen and let's have a conversation. So tell me, actually, you can tell me what you thought of the video, because this is our new branded video for our website that is going to be going live next week. Any comments? I would love to hear. I'm waiting for the, you know, you shouldn't have dead air. I'm waiting for the comments to start to populate. So I can tell you a little bit about what we have coming up next, because we're going to talk about emotional intelligence with Jason. And I met Jason in Clubhouse. So if you're in a small business and you're not in Clubhouse yet, you should consider joining Clubhouse and meeting some new folks over there. That's really, really fun. So Deborah says you always put on a fabulous show. No improvements needed. Thank you so much, Deborah. I appreciate that. And I am going to share again, because Small Business Saturday shout out is a community of business owners. So if you have a business, and I know Bob, you said you didn't have a business, but as an artist, as an individual artist, you are your own business because you are selling your artwork. So that's a product, that's something that you are marketing. So you do have a small business. And so if you want to join Small Business Saturday Shout Out, I will share with you again. You can go to the group. It's facebook.com/groups/SBSSO. So anytime you see SBSSO, that means Small Business Saturday Shout Out. So come on over and join the community over there. We're also come over on YouTube and subscribe to our YouTube channel. It's youtube.com/C/Alicia Curry. So come on over to YouTube and join the party over on YouTube. And we have a networking event coming up. We have a networking event coming up on the 27th of August. And we have so much fun at these networking events. You can bring your own cocktail. We'll have a happy hour networking event. You get to meet other small business owners from around the world. We are a community of growing small businesses, and we are all over the world. So come on over. The only way to get invited to this networking event is to be part of the group. So come on over and join the group. And so you can be invited. You'll get the invitation. You can register and get the invitation to be on with us on Zoom on our networking event. It's a whole lot of fun. We have games, we have prizes, we have all kinds of wonderful things going on that event, during that event. We also have masterclasses in the group. So if you have a product, a service, or something that you believe small businesses can learn about, you can be one of our masterclass presenters, and you can come and present what you do and how you help others in business. If you have a B2B service, how you help them, and that would be our masterclass session. So you can come and do that. Just contact me, and the easiest way to get in touch with me is to go to alicia360.com. Let me put that up there. You can connect with me on all social media platforms. You can DM me, you can WhatsApp me, you can send me a text message, you can email me, and just go to alicia360.com and you'll find all the ways that you can connect with moi. And so when you do that, then send me a note and say, you know what, I would like to do a masterclass on SBSSO, or I'd like to be a guest. We are always accepting guests on Small Business Saturday Shout Out, so that you can have this spot here and talk about yourself and your business. And one of the great things about having this interview is after the interview, you get a copy of the interview itself. You don't get a link, you get a copy of the interview, so that now you can use it. Right, Deborah? Deborah was a guest on the show a few weeks ago, and you can take that and you can break it up and you can use it for your own promotion. You can use it for your own social media, your own website, anything like that. You can take sound bites out of it. So the video that I just showed was a full interview. And what I did is I actually pulled the interview out, the questions, and made them into a written video question, so that, you know, just for something different. So it wasn't just an interview like a regular interview that everybody sees. So yes, Deborah, it was a pleasure, and it definitely was a pleasure interviewing you, because, you know, style is my thing. I love it. So you will get a copy of this video that you can use for your own promotion. It's now a marketing asset for your company. So when you come on the show, you don't just get to come on the show live, but then you have something that can, that's kind of an evergreen piece of content for yourself that you can use in multiple ways for your business. Let me see if that was my guest, because like I said, he had to go deal with a situation. And so, nope, it was not him. I'm waiting. He said he was going to message me as soon as he was getting back in. So, Deborah, I'm going to put you on the spot, and let me know if you are available to come talk with me for a few minutes, and I will send you a link. I will send you a link, and we could chat until Jason arrives back in the studio. He had to go deal with something. So let me know if you are a thumbs up. You can actually, you can WhatsApp me. You got my number. You can WhatsApp me, Deborah, and I will bring you on. If you're not in a position to talk, that's fine. I know I'm putting you on the spot. I just wanted to give you an opportunity to come talk about your experience on Small Business Saturday Shout Out. And you've been to our networking events. Luciana, you as well. You've been a guest on the show, and you've been to an event on Small Business Saturday Shout Out. So you're also welcome if you're still here joining in to come on live with me. I know you're probably not ready. Been talking for a little bit, need a little sip of water. But let me know. Oh, here she goes. She's like, I'm not visibly presentable. You're better in the position you're in at Clubhouse than on video. I got it completely. I know sometimes I'm watching videos and I'm not ready to jump on video. So that's why I said, I know I'm putting you on the spot, but it's okay. I was just checking in on you to see if you could. Palmonia, she was a guest on the show. Yay. How are you, Palmonia? I hope you can come join us for our networking event. We have a networking event coming up on the 27th. I'll show that banner again. It is our happy hour cocktail networking event. Try to fit it all in there. So what we do is we meet each other, but you know what? We don't just have people introduce themselves regularly. What we do is we play a little game, and we try to guess who said what. And it's fun because people usually don't guess what it is. So I ask 3 questions. You write out your answers. It's anonymous. We put it up on the screen. The answers are put up on the screen anonymously, and people have to guess who belongs to what answer. And that's how we start introducing ourselves. So it's a lot of fun. We get to know things about each other that we probably didn't know. And you're going to have a lot of fun doing it. So come on to our networking event. It is free and it is a lot of fun. And like I said, we give away prizes, we have games, and we get to know one another and our businesses and how we can support each other in business, because it's super, super important to be able to support one another in business and in life. And actually, I connected with Deborah through a course that we were both taking on getting to know more about Instagram and learning more how to use Instagram more effectively for business. And so we connected on that several months ago, and now we are really close friends. We're good. I support her Clubhouse. She supports my shows. So you never know who you're going to meet and how they can impact your life and what you're doing. And so it's always important to network. So if you're available on the 27th at 6 p.m. Eastern time, come on over to our networking event and get to know some of the people here in Small Business Saturday Shout Out. So I'm supposed to have introducing Jason about now, and he has not yet messaged me. So I am not quite sure if he has made it back or if we should continue to wait. So what do you think you should do? Should we continue to wait, or should we invite him back on another show when he doesn't have the same situation going on and he can be relaxed and share with us? So let me know what you think. Should I just keep talking and talking and talking away, or should we have Jason reschedule? Let me see. This has happened to me before, by the way, on a live show where we've had, traffic is not cooperating. I'm doing the best I can. He's a bit late. Let me see. Do you want This is live for you, right? Let's see if he wants to reschedule. I think you should keep talking and talking and talking. Maybe tell us a little bit about your pageant days. You know what? I don't have pageant days, Deborah. I had a pageant. I had one pageant that I ever went to, that I ever entered, because my self-esteem and my belief in myself was so low that I couldn't even think that I could enter a pageant. I didn't think I could. And so a few years ago, that was the very first pageant that I had ever entered. And it was a real challenge for me to even make the decision to do it. I didn't think I could. And remember, I shared with you before the 7 steps to audacious confidence, or the 7 secrets to audacious confidence, which is something that I developed having to go through it myself, because my confidence and my esteem was not internally. So externally, you know, a lot of times externally, you can put on the brave face, you can show up like if you are in control, in charge. I know what I'm doing. So my internal confidence, it was not really strong. And sorry, I think we'll reschedule. He said he's about 8 minutes out. So I'll wait and see. Let's wait and see if he shows up. So my internal confidence wasn't that great. And I knew that. And I think this is a great lead up to what Jason's going to talk about, because I would, in hindsight, I noticed that I would shy away from big opportunities. I wouldn't go for big opportunities. I would always shrink back and decide that they're not for me. I would decide that, you know, oh yeah, that's nice, but they didn't really mean me, you know, or I couldn't do that. How could I do that? And as I started looking back and seeing those moments that I had really big opportunities to do something in my career, and instead of doing that, I talked myself out of it, because either I didn't deserve it, I wasn't good enough, I wasn't pretty enough, I wasn't smart enough, I just was never enough. And so as I was metamorphosizing in my own metamorphosis, I began to develop these 7 steps to go through. And then I started teaching other women some of these steps. And I had workshops to share with women how to transform yourself from low self-esteem and low self-worth, and really step into your own audacious confidence. I didn't call it audacious confidence at the time, but how to be confident in yourself. And so that's kind of, I'm saying a long thing to tell you that my pageant story came about after I had gone through that transformation myself. And I was invited to do this pageant 3 years in a row. And 2 of the 3 years I kept saying no. I kept telling them, no, I'm not going to do a pageant. What do I need to do a pageant for? And you know, that again, it was, when I really dig deep and think about it, it was false humility. It was, oh, I don't need a pageant to validate who I am, kind of attitude, ego attitude. And so the third time, when Marlena came to me and she said, you know, why don't you do it? Why don't you do the pageant? This was in 2019, in May. And I said, no, I'm not going to do it. And she's like, why? Why not? And I had to really stop and think and ask myself, why am I not doing it? Why am I continuing to say no to this opportunity? And remember, I said I was always shying away from big opportunities in my life. And so I decided to say yes. But in order to actually show up at the pageant, which was, I think, let's see, June, July, August, September, 6 months later, to actually show up for the pageant, I went through my own 7 steps and to prepare myself to be there. And once I had done all those things and I went through that progression, those seven steps, I was ready. So when I showed up, okay, Deborah, oh, I know you were here specifically for Jason. I'm so sorry. But hopefully you'll come back to see him because he's not here yet. So yep, he has not showed up yet. So anyway, that's my pageant story, Deborah. So once I showed up and I was fortunate enough to win that year. And I'm so grateful and so honored and so thankful that I did that in 2019, that I actually took the time to do it, because in 2020, they didn't have a pageant. We all know what happened in 2020. So I actually got to reign for a year and a few months, because then they had the pageant in January for 2020. So I got to extend my reign, having done it in 2019. And that's my story, and I'm sticking to it. Well, Jason is not here yet, and so I believe we will reschedule him for another Saturday. Thank you so much, everyone, for sticking in. He got stuck in traffic. Let me just tell him, let's reschedule. And I will see you next week. I'm so sorry that he couldn't make it, because we're going to talk about mindset and emotional intelligence, and as a business owner, how do you really strengthen that muscle? How do you strengthen your mindset and be compassionate and learn how to speak with each other in reading one another and speaking to each other in compassionate terms. Oh, he's just logging in now, so at least we can say hi and chat for a few minutes, but I'll still invite him back so he can have the full show, so we can do this right. But I'm just gonna have him pop on, and we'll talk for the last few minutes that we have. As soon as I see him pop on. I know I keep turning this way because I'm reading his text messages to me. There he is. Hello, Jason.
Oh my goodness. I'm so sorry for being so late.
Oh no. It's
oh my
okay.
Goodness.
Listen, we understand things can go haywire. It's live. This is what happens. But what we can do, I'll just introduce who you are and everything, and then we'll have you come back, because I don't want to rush it. I don't want to have you being all flustered, and I want to really be able to sit down and have a really great conversation with you.
Okay, I feel really bad about taking so long.
Listen, I blabbed. I talked and talked and talked.
Well, I'm glad you were able to. I'm glad that you have the gift of gab. I mean, someone like you, this is a perfect stage for you.
Thank you. Well, I ran out of a couple things, and then Deborah, you know Deborah. Yep. Deborah had me talk about something else, so I just went on and on and on. So right. Tell us a little bit, and I'm not gonna. I'll do the whole setup and everything for you when we can have a really great video for you. But just tell us a little bit about who you are and what you do.
Okay, my name is Jason Matthews, and I'm a compassion strategist. What that means is that I help coaches, therapists, and spiritual practitioners like healers and psychics and mediums be able to show themselves as being irresistible and essential for their clients, so that they have a need of wanting to see those people for getting their answers answered, getting their life on track, being able to know that the people they're talking to, these professionals, can get them exactly what they need in order to get their lives where they want to go. So it's basically being able to show them how to become extremely influential by creating deep relationships with their clients and letting those clients know that they can trust the practitioner to have their best interest in heart.
So it's also about communication techniques.
Absolutely. Well, that's what relationship building is. Communication is the cornerstone of relationship building. You can't build a relationship without proper communication. And knowing how to communicate by knowing, first of all, where you stand and how you process emotions and how you can process emotions correctly, and then being able to be curious enough about someone else to find out how they process emotions. That's the first stage of building a proper relationship.
This is fascinating. This is so fascinating. And I don't want to get too deep into the questioning because I can just keep going and going and going. But just really quickly, how did you get involved in that?
So I've been coaching for, good Lord, 10 years now. And I started off with hypnotherapy. Then I got into NLP. And both of those things were great, but there was something that was missing. There was something that just, it was great for overcoming limiting beliefs, but there was nothing that was helping people to reach out and create those meaningful connections. And it wasn't until I understood the idea of trauma. That's really my specialty. I have a degree in psychology, and I really focused on the trauma aspect and understanding how people process information after they've gone through a traumatic experience, and how being able to reach out and be curious enough about someone helps to heal that trauma on both sides. Just the idea of creating a reciprocity in that relationship is really what causes the greatest amount of healing. And that healing is what creates that bond between two people, a deep, meaningful, trusting connection that goes beyond love and goes beyond desire. It's more about a deep respect just for being a human being.
Wow. All right. Well, I can't wait for our conversation. I'm I hope you can't wait for it either, those of you who are still joining us and watching, and I didn't bore you half to tears while we were waiting for Jason. But I am fascinated by everything you're saying, because I love learning more about the human mind and how it works, and especially that emotional part of the mind. So we will reschedule Jason. If you look out on our social media, you will see when he's coming back up, so that you won't miss it. And I know you got stuff to go do, Jason. And so thank you so much for racing to get back here to do our interview. And I'm sorry that we weren't able to give you the full experience, but you will be back, and we will give you the full red carpet CEO treatment. That's this company that produces these videos. It's the Red Carpet CEO. So you'll get the full Red Carpet CEO treatment when you come back next.
I really look forward to coming back, and I am so grateful for your generosity. Thank you so much for being so understanding and for allowing me to come back after spending most of my time that I was supposed to be on the phone, in the car trying to get here. So I really appreciate just you being you. Thank you so much.
You're very welcome. Well, thank you, Jason. Just don't go anywhere. Let me wrap up the show, and we'll try to figure out the next steps.
Okay.
All right. Thank you so much, Jason, for racing to get to us so that you can at least just share a snippet of what it is we're going to be learning about when you come back next. So thank you, everyone, for joining us here on Small Business Saturday Shout Out. And by the way, let me just tell you how you can get reach Jason, because in case you want to connect with him, you can connect with him on IG. It's the_compassion_strategist. His website is relatem.com, RELATEM.com. And you can also go to Facebook and connect with him. It's facebook.com/ it's coming across the screen, Relatem, RELATEM.coach. So make sure to connect with Jason on all those platforms. So thank you all so very much for being patient and hanging in there with me today on Small Business Saturday Shout Out. We will be back next time with another episode and some guests. And again, let me know what you thought of my video. Let me know what you thought of the show. It was an interesting show today. And I hope to see you next time. And don't forget, join our community. It is so important. It's free. You get to network with other small business owners. It's facebook.com/groups/SBSSO. And also connect with me on social media. It's alicia360.com. And don't forget, we have an event coming up. So join the group so you can be a part of the event. Until next time, I will see you. Stay safe, and I'll see you next time. Mwah. Wrong.